If you're struggling to generate consistent leads on LinkedIn, you're not alone. Maybe you've tried posting content and you've just got crickets. Maybe you've tried some LinkedIn automation tools and found that you just get responses with people annoyed at you. Or maybe you've just tried adding connection after connection and you've grown this network, but it's not actually converting into revenue for you. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the exact blueprint that I've used to generate over $500 million in sales for my clients and over $3 million in business revenue for myself. So let's get into it. The biggest mistake I see business owners and content creators make is they're focused on the views and the likes and the comments. And I can tell you right now, there's lots of people on LinkedIn and other social media platforms with 300,000, even 3 million followers, and they get 300 comments every time they post, and you think, geez, these guys must be really crushing their business. And nothing could be farther than the truth. They're actually struggling to pay their rent in some instances, because here's the thing, vanity metrics don't equal revenue. But if you want to go viral, you need to create a content that's relatable to the widest audience possible. How do you do that? Well, one way is to be entertaining. We all have a human need to be entertained. So if you make it entertaining, we can all get something out of that, and we can all enjoy it, and we can all like and comment and share. So you could definitely go viral using that strategy. But is that a way to generate revenue for your business? Not necessarily, because what you're attracting is people that want to be entertained at the end of the day. Whereas if you focus on educating a specific audience, let's say you help financial advisors with their marketing, and you create all your content that speaks directly to them and you educate them, then you're actually getting an audience that wants to learn and wants to be educated, which is far more valuable than somebody that wants to be entertained, especially if you offer marketing services. You're actually adding value, and then what will happen is they'll want to reciprocate that value, and you are building trust. And this is what the key to social media. There's this thing called the mere exposure effect. The more times that your brand is exposed to an individual, the more familiar it is. So the more they trust you, the more likely they are to do business with you than the next guy. And that's essentially how I think about social media. I think, how can I get more exposures in front of my target audience so that I'm more familiar with them and I'm trusted more than the next guy? And so that's really the game of social media, and that's the way that I look at it. So I want you to think about that when you're creating content rather than trying to go viral. You've heard me say this before, but likes don't pay the bills. And that's right. Step 2. The 2-3-5 system for lead generation. Most business owners and most LinkedIn trainers overcomplicate LinkedIn. They say you need to post 5 times a day. Was this simply not true? Do you even need to post every day? No, you don't have to at all. Once a day is probably the max that you can look at right now, because once you start doing more than that, it starts to hurt your reach of the post you did last. You can see the celebrities are doing, like Gary Vee and Alex Hormozi, they'll do it every 4 hours. And that's just because overall, yes, they will get more reach. It is reducing their reach somewhat for every post as well, if that makes sense. It's just that there's more of them. Now, look, if you've got a business where you're doing the content or your marketing person's doing the content, time's much more valuable just focusing on creating quality than doing more and more and more. So what's the 2-3-5 system? Well, let me tell you, 2 video posts per week. Whoa, that's a bit daunting. I've always tiptoed around this issue because so many people give me friction about not wanting to create video content. Guys, you've got to create video in this day and age. It's 5 times more shared on LinkedIn than any other type of content. They just introduced the LinkedIn mobile video feed, which means that it's just getting amplified. It's like TikTok and Instagram, but on a mobile device now with LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is pushing video hard. And because not many people are doing it, only 1% of people post on LinkedIn, and it's a much smaller portion that post videos, there's not as much competition. So while you can, because it's not going to last forever, post videos. In a year's time, all of the great talent from TikTok and YouTube and all those, creators that do really well over there are going to come onto LinkedIn, and it won't take them long to figure it out. And by then, the opportunity may have passed. So get onto video. You need to post 2 a week to show LinkedIn that you're serious and you're consistent. Think about it from the algorithm perspective. If you just post a video every now and then, LinkedIn's trying to give its users a good experience. So why would they pick that video you're posting sporadically, here and there, it's not consistent, when they've got the opportunity to post someone else's who's doing it consistently and is probably better at it because they've got more experience and they're doing it regularly? LinkedIn's going to choose a more experienced person because it's looking at these data points when it's deciding whether to show this video or that video. So don't give it a reason not to show yours by being consistent. And how do you do that in the video? Well, if you're creating 2 a week, you really need to be back to creating, because you don't want to wake up in the morning and go, oh, I've got to shoot another video today. What am I going to talk about today? Hey guys, this is Happy Friday. Don't do that. What you want to do is write down 3 content pillars, 3 topics that you talk about to your audience that adds value. Like for me, I could talk about social media, I could talk about LinkedIn, entrepreneurship. I could even talk about inspirational stuff that's going on in my life that's not necessarily to do with business. If you do that 1 in 5 posts, that actually builds trust as well because people can relate to it. So you don't have to do that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be about business. It could be a hobby. It could be something, to do with health, or if you're into going to the gym, or it could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be with exactly what you do. So have a think about what you can do to show some personality and make yourself different. And then what you want to do is create those pillars, and you can have 3 to 5. And then underneath those pillars, write down all of the topics that you come up with of what you could create videos about, and all of the questions that people ask that are related to those topics. So, I have a long list of frequently asked questions, okay? And then when you've got that list, you've got more than enough topics for you to talk about. And questions is quite a good way to structure it, because you can just create one video answering one question, and you're giving the users what it wants. So you sit down for an hour, you could easily create 20 short videos, 30 videos. The key to it is post-production, getting it edited and all that stuff. Don't do it yourself. It's a huge learning curve. You don't realize how much you don't know until you start knowing a little bit. So you want to outsource it to a video production company, especially with LinkedIn. I think you need to have professional video. It doesn't matter too much to the algorithm whether you do, so you decide what's right for your market. But from my perspective, if I'm targeting businesses or C-suite executives or banks, I want it to look professional because that's what they expect from the service providers that they use. And this is our latest offering to clients, that we're batch creating video content. So if they're sending in their long form content, sometimes I even do the interview with them to draw the content out of them. Sometimes we even write their script, and then we create 30 videos in one go for them. And we can do it really cost effectively because we've got economies of scale and an in-house video editing team. Let's get on to the next step. So how to send DMs that get replies. Geez, your inbox is probably flooded with DMs that suck, right? They're all about them. Me. Buy my stuff. That shit doesn't work, especially in this day and age. You're just going to turn people off, piss people off. Don't do it. So what you want to do is actually be respectful of people's time. You want to add some value first. So in the past, I would always say, find, connect, engage, get straight to the point, book the appointment. Now I've actually added another step into our process when we work with clients. So it's now a 4-step process. Find, connect, engage. Nurture. What does that mean? Well, what you want to do ideally is start engaging with their posts. So ideally, if you're using Sales Navigator, you can narrow it down by who's posted recently, and therefore you can focus on those ones. So all the people that you see in the search results will be guys that have got posts recent, but not everyone's posting, right? So if you use Sales Navigator, do it like that, and then start engaging on their comments. But you have to make sure that your comment is thoughtful and strategic, which means you're going to have to read their posts. Now, that's going to require a little bit of time and a little bit of work, but hey, guess what? That's what happens when you're trying to build a relationship, okay? It's something that you can outsource, but you've got to outsource it to somebody who knows what they're doing. Again, we do this for clients now. We've got templates and things and lots of bunch of stuff that we share with people in advance, so we're not leaving things up to initiative, right? But you want to make it personal, add some value. If they've got 5 steps that they're recommending, add a 6. If they're recommending a book, maybe share your ideas, share some feedback, always be respectful. But if you post 2 or 3 times on their comments before you send an invitation to connect, you'll see your conversion rate from your invitations go from the average is 15%. I was getting about 35% with client, and we jumped from 35 to 88%, right? So that's over double, almost triple the conversion rate, which affects every stage of the lead generation process. Because if you're getting twice as many invites accepted, you can send out twice as many messages to follow up to set appointment, therefore you get twice as many leads. So it's a fantastic strategy, makes all the difference. So if you want to get replies, add that little step first. And then when you write the connection request, customize it. You'll need a premium account to do this. If you don't have a premium account and you can't get one for budget reasons, then just send them out without the invite. It'll still work, but you'll get a better result, better quality client if you send a little message. Especially when you send invitations on LinkedIn now and somebody accepts, it actually just pops up in their inbox as like a chat. So it's quite a good place to ask a question, because in the past, you would send the invitation, and then if you customize it and you ask a question, as soon as they press accept, they actually lose the message, and it was like, then you've got to ask again, and you're kind of in follow-up mode, which we want to avoid. So now you can do it because it's changed. So it pops up in their inbox. Send a message as thoughtful and say, hey, really enjoyed reading this content that you posted about this, and I see that you're in this industry, or I see that we know these people. Yeah, I'd love to connect, find out more about what you do. And then, you could even ask your question and say, oh, by the way, how's business going for you at the moment? Or how's this year looking if it's the start of the year? Yeah, something like that. So, just if you don't ask a question, just ask one question and make it short and make it really easy to answer so I don't have to think too much, okay? You're starting a conversation, if that makes sense. Then once you start to get replies, there's a much higher chance that they're going to reply to you when you do make the ask. You don't want to go on for too long. Just get them in a conversation. So you got them in conversation, say, yeah, by the way, I saw in your profile that you're in the financial services space. I'm actually doing a lot of work now. I'd love to share with you what we're up to and see if it's of value to you. Are you free have you got 10 minutes spare over the next few days for a quick chat? You'll find you'll get much better results, much better conversion rates when you do it that way. Now, step 4, this is where it gets interesting. The LinkedIn content authority flywheel. Okay, so this is where you start posting high value content, right? So there's the 2-3-5 system is 2 video posts per week, 3 text posts per week, so educating your audience and reinforcing your expertise, and 5 direct messages per day. 2, 3, 5. So the direct messages convert content engagement into actual sales opportunities. The biggest mistake that people make is they just post and hope for leads, but the money is made in the direct conversations, if that makes sense. In the private conversations, pull the conversation offline and you're into your sales opportunity. So that goes back in step 2, just FYI. Okay, step 4. The LinkedIn authority flywheel. So what will happen is as you post more and more content and you're adding people into your network, you start to get perceived as an industry authority. And this is where the gold is. Because when I started posting content, especially video content, for the first year and a half, 2 years, everyone was saying to me, what are you doing that for, mate? What do you post all those videos for? And I didn't really have an answer, not a good one anyway. And so about 2 years, I don't know if it was that long, maybe a year and a half to 2 years, is when I started to see the impact when people started to message me and say, hey, I've been watching your videos for a year. We'd love to get you in to do our LinkedIn training. And they weren't shopping around. There was only one person there they wanted to speak to, because you build that industry authority and then just started to build and get more and more inbound leads. At one point, I was getting like 50 of these a day when I was in my peak, and you don't have to outbound them because you're getting all these inbound leads, which is the best kind because there's no competition. They're not shopping around on price. So your content attracts attention. Your DMs turn attention into conversations. Your conversations will start relationships, which will turn into sales. Relationships and sales, this is what we're talking about. Business relationships, client relationships, and step 4, your authority grows. And that's really where the value is. It's so funny because a lot of time when I'm speaking to clients or I'm training people, they see the value in the immediate return. Oh, send messages, get appointments, great. Grow my network to set appointments. That's all they're interested in. It's immediate results, right? But the real value, where you get a competitive edge, is when you build that authority, which is a longer term thing. So you do need to build your network, you need to develop relationships, and you need to be posting content to position yourself as an authority. But if you stick with it and you stay consistent, and most people won't because they want results today, then you'll just get a league of your own. You're blue ocean, no competition. So I encourage you to do that. Step 5. The comment to call strategy. How to generate leads from every post. So the easiest way to generate leads without cold outreach is to offer some sort of free resource that they can get either by clicking a link or commenting or DMing you something. So you want to create something really valuable. So you think about your audience, who they are, exactly who they are, what their biggest problem is, and then you create what I call a lead magnet around that. A lead magnet is just a valuable resource, like way more valuable than your average article or post or whatever. Put it in a PDF. You want to get it designed really well. It needs to look high value, and it needs to look scarce, and it needs to look like something people would pay for, and it needs to also deliver on that. I shouldn't just say look like. You position it like that, but it also needs to deliver on that. So you need to spend some time on it and make it really good and solve that problem in the lead magnet. If you do a post, for example, and you say, what I did recently was the LinkedIn content planner, right? Which I do every year at the start of the new year. And so most people, if you're in this boat, you understand, most people don't plan their content. They think of it on a day. If they do plan, it's kind of like they're planning, for the week or the month max. No one's doing strategic planning for the whole year. Well, very few people, right? But that's the best way to add value, and that's the best way to stay consistent. That's the best way to, focus on what your audience, the problem that you solve for your audience, so that it actually generates leads. So you need a content calendar, you need to create content pillars, you need your content topics, you need some sort of guidance over how to package up the content. If you're doing video, how to structure structure it, how to write the captions, what sort of images work the best. So anyway, I packed all this information with templates, the checklist, everything into the LinkedIn content planner, right? So I positioned that as a post and I said, hey guys, I just finished this brand new resource. It's got this, and that. If you'd like a copy, comment below with the word planner, because I'm not just sending people off of LinkedIn. So in which case they're not engaging with my content. And in fact, LinkedIn will reduce the reach because it doesn't like people leaving LinkedIn. I'm getting comments. Every time somebody wants a planner, they drop it in the comments. So obviously this just amplifies the post. So instead of getting 1,000 views on the post, you get like 30,000 comparing. So you get all that engagement. Otherwise they can click the link and leave the post and not comment because they're interested in getting the resource, right? So get them to comment, and then what you do is you send them a private message and say, here's the resource as promised. Yes, it takes a little bit more work to do it that way, but you're in the chat and creating conversations. You don't just want to blast out to everyone. You don't know who's read it and who hasn't, and not actually generate any conversations. Your key, the secret is to start conversations. So this is a great way to do that. And people have already engaged with the content. They've already requested something. You're getting into them, saying something of value, and you can always touch base with them in a couple of weeks and say, just wanted to find out what you thought. Now, most people obviously are not going to have looked at it yet, right? That's a good step to do because it might trigger them to have a look at it. And if it's valuable, there's a good chance that they'll get back in touch with you to find out more. So don't just offer it once, offer it 2 or 3 times because people won't read it and you need to remind them. Step 6. The LinkedIn growth stack. These are the tools that you need. So you need these core tools. Like ideally you want to have access to LinkedIn search filters. You do have quite a few on the free version, and you will be able to view more profiles and then customize invitations if you have an upgraded profile. So either career profile or a sales navigator or even a business profile. Sales navigator will give you the most search filters to find decision makers in your industry, including narrowing down by if they posted recently. You want some sort of analytics tools. Shield is pretty good. Shield Analytics. Check out Clio's, great way to do research. Supergrow is a great one. They also help you write LinkedIn posts. Also check out Magicos. And you want to track your leads, I use Tricondo. Condo is called. I think the website is Tricondo. That's a great way to keep track of your inbox. If you're getting lots of messages, this is a great way to color code them, flag them. You can put little snippets in there, so little templates to reply to people with. It's just a great way to manage your inbox. And the other one is Use Aware. So Aware is called, but Use Aware is the domain name. That allows you to create lists of people that you're targeting that you want to engage on their content. You go to that list and there might be 20 people in it. You can see all their recent posts and you can go through and comment on them one by one. There's also another section where you can reply to all the comments you've got. So make sure you don't miss any comments. You want to reply to every single comment, right? So there's a list where you can do that. I highly recommend Aware. It's fantastic. I think it's also worthwhile you getting a calendar booking link. I use Calendly. That's a lot of CRMs and email providers offer booking services as well. Sometimes it just helps to use somebody a link to a calendar with your availability in it so they can choose a time. Other times the best is to get a number and follow, and sometimes if it's too much work, too much clicking around and finding a calendar, it's just easier just to type your number. More personal as well, if you give them a call. We want to keep the first conversation short, like 10 minutes. So those are the main tools I'd recommend that you need for LinkedIn. Now, step 7. How to get high-ticket clients on LinkedIn fast. So this is really just fun if you've got a dream client list. Like if you've got 10 dream clients, what you want to do is write them all down, pick them on X to your desk, and then you want to start focusing on connecting with people in that organization that are relevant to what you do. And they don't have to be the decision maker as long as they influence the decision maker. So I'll give you an example. One of my clients is a telemarketing company. Isn't this interesting? A telemarketing company hires a lead generation company to generate their lead because they can't generate the leads for themselves through telemarketing cheap enough. That's right. They still be offering for clients, but they need to use LinkedIn to generate lead for themselves. Anyway, so their campaign was going really well and getting lots of appointments. And I said to them, what's your dream client? They said, we'd love to get Expedia, the travel website. I said, okay, that is what I could do. So I made a list of all of the people in Expedia that were in their network, and there was about 500 people that we could reach out to, and that's just focusing on the marketing department, HR department, and some leadership roles. And so we just started connecting with all of them on behalf of the director, and And what happened was they ended up getting the meeting and getting the sale because a lot of the staff were around with a water cooler at work and saying, hey, we just got a LinkedIn message from this guy. Oh, I got one too. Me too. And so like through that conversation, they said, well, we may as well get this guy in here, and they made the sale. So what you want to do is just like divide and conquer and attack from all fronts and just contact all of them, adding value. And it won't be long before you're the most familiar person in that space, in that organization. Try it. Tell me how it goes. This is how I got Apple, Westpac, like all my big clients. This is exactly how I got them. So check it out and just add value. So let's summarize what we've covered today, the LinkedIn success formula, if you will. Content that attracts your audience, use DMs to start conversations, not spam pitches, run comment to call campaigns to drive email leads, offer free value to high-ticket clients before selling, stay consistent, LinkedIn reward for those who show up. Okay, if you want to dominate on LinkedIn this year, then hit the subscribe button. I'd encourage you to check out more videos. If you're interested in working with me and my team, check out nathanialvideo.com and don't hesitate to get in touch, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.